Lights, camera, and action.
Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast.
Remember those childhood movies you loved? We're going to watch them again and find out if they're still as amazing as you remember. Let's get ready to join Anna and Jimmy as they go back and watch those movies you remember being oh so awesomely good. Horror movies that scared. Comedy movies that dared. And action movies so preposterously ludicrous that they defied the laws of common sense. Now, here's your hosts, Anna Santos and Jimmy Coates.
All right. Welcome to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Today we are going back to 1999.
Yeah, we are.
1999. And it's Tim Burton. I could not find a Sleepy Hollow. I did find
Beetlejuice.
It's a shitty cup. It's not a nice cup.
It's okay. It's a classic. It's a classic.
Oh, the movie's great, but the cup sucks. It was 98 cents because getting closer to Halloween, they're trying to get rid of everything.
Nice.
They actually also were getting rid of a Conjuring and Annabelle, and they were actually really cool looking cups.
Ooh.
So I got them for 98 cents too.
I should get a couple of those. I love Annabelle.
I regretted getting the Annabelle one. It's a creepy fucking cup. It looks like the doll's just staring at you like it's fucking ugh.
Pre-pandemic, when one of the Annabelle movies came out, Annabelle came to my work and we could take pictures with her.
Ugh.
So I did. So I have quite a few pictures of me just chilling with Annabelle. It was great.
I would have had to have gotten the picture taken.
Oh, of course. Of course.
But we are going to preview 1999's Tim Burton, Johnny Depp. For some reason, I thought it was, oh, come on, the chick from Spider-Man.
Kirsten Dunst?
Kristen Dunst. It's not. It's Christina Ricci.
It is.
Sleepy Hollow. And I was looking forward to the movie, but I wasn't looking forward to the movie like I was The Nightmare on Elm Street and the Texas Chainsaw Massacres and Return of the Living Dead. But that changed, and we'll get to that in a second. What do you remember about Sleepy Hollow?
I remember this being an objectively terrible movie that I absolutely loved. Like, it was very cheesy. It was very, like, eye-rolly, but for some reason, I loved it, and that's what I remember. I don't remember much of the actual movie. I'd like to point that out, but, yeah, no, I remember loving it.
See, I remember liking it too, but then I didn't own it. I didn't watch it a lot after. 1999 is a long time ago.
Yes, it is. Thank you for pointing that out. That's also the year I graduated from high school.
Yay!
Woo!
And then doing a lot of the research I did getting that ready for this kind of rang that same sentiment that you just said there about that they liked it, but there was certain things.
Objectively, a terrible movie. I remember thinking, God, this is terrible, but I love it. But it's not something that I rewatched a lot, because I think the last time I saw it was probably about 10 years ago. And it was on TV last week, and I thought to myself, "Oh, I should watch it." But I was like, "No, we're doing it for the podcast. I gotta wait."
Yeah.
But I was like, it's not one of those movies that you're like, I should see it again.
And this is before Johnny Depp was Captain Jack.
Yes.
But he was big, and Tim Burton was big, and yeah, but I remember liking it. I remember the big reveal of who was the headless horseman at the end.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Okay, I won't say anything. Just
appreciate it.
Yeah. All right, so let's look at the box office. Okay, so it came out November 17th, 1999. That seems like a really huge missed opportunity.
Yeah.
To come out just after Halloween. That's a head scratcher. Like
You can
it,
tell there were delays in production.
yeah, it had a $100 million budget for 1999. That's huge. That's a big budget.
That's like a that's ginormous.
Yeah,
That's what's his name? Oh god, George Lucas, that's it.
mm, that's
It's
yeah,
a
that's that type of. Well, actually, 1999 was Phantom Menace, and I don't think that his budget was much higher than that.
that's
I think
kind
it
of
made a lot
impressive.
more money though.
Who's the other guy that had the really high it was a Kevin Costner movie with water.
Oh, Waterworld, come on.
Waterworld.
Yeah,
I don't know why, but I kept wanting to say, like, what anyways, that one
yeah,
had
it
a
had a big
ginormous budget
budget.
too,
Yeah,
and nobody watched it.
I love that movie. Kind of like what
Like
you said here.
oh,
It
yeah.
was, yeah, it's so cheesy, so bad. It was so awesome. Well, Sleepy Hollow brought in just over 101 million dollars domestically, international a little bit more, 105. I guess this was around the time when they were realizing that you could make some money internationally.
Mm,
The end of the 90s, early 2000s. And so 206 million, it looked like it broke even with budget and marketing. Probably made some money.
yeah, it
Not
probably made a little
huge,
bit no.
but also 1999, Blockbuster was still alive and well, so it probably made a ton of money on rentals and DVD sales, and so it probably did okay
Mhm.
because it opened in 3,064 theaters and was the number one movie for one day. And then by the end of the weekend, it moved down to second place,
Yeah,
but
that's not too bad.
not too bad. So we'll go to the tail of the tape. And this is why I'm confused, and I must not remember it very well because Sleepy Hollow is a 1999 horror movie. I'm going by Rotten Tomatoes. It's rated R, and it comes in at 1 hour and 45 minutes. Your face is kind of what my face was when I was looking this up. I'm like, wait, what? I must have the wrong movie.
Y
It's a horror. I thought it was more of a fantasy thriller,
Thriller
maybe.
kinda maybe suspense, maybe.
Maybe.
Horror, I would not give it. Yeah,
But they're calling it a horror, and
maybe.
it does have an R rating. So I'm like, I do not remember this movie, obviously,
Okay,
because I
the
don't
R
remember.
rating? No, I how? Well, I guess
If
we're
you
gonna
would have
find
asked
out.
me, I would have said thriller, suspense, PG-13, like off the top of my
Yeah,
head. Yeah,
because I don't
easy.
remember, 1, this as being scary. It was not scary.
No,
I also don't remember it being overly violent or
I remember it
gory.
being very Tim Burton-y.
Oh,
Danny
yeah,
Elfman, yeah,
100%.
Johnny Depp.
But, weird.
Oh, that's why
Okay.
I thought it was Kristen Dunst. Christina Ricci has blonde hair. Look, they almost look like twins. They look nothing like each other.
They almost look like twins. They have the same color hair, but not really,
Yeah. Yeah, anyone that has the same color hair, you're a twin. No, not even
apparently.
close. Taglines for Sleepy Hollow. Who will it come for next?
Eh.
Watch your head.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
Beware.
That's stupid. That's real
That's
stupid.
that's lazy. Heads will roll.
That's a good one.
Close your eyes, say your prayers, sleep if you can.
Nope.
You can lock the doors, you can bolt the windows, but can you save the night? So shit. I just ruined it. But can you survive the night?
I don't like that tagline either.
No, heads will roll.
Yeah.
And
Watch your
watch your
head.
head. Yeah.
Fantastic because Headless Horseman who takes off people's heads makes a lot of sense. Everything else is just really you're trying to put creep into a non-creepy movie.
Yeah. Synopsis. Ichabod Crane is sent to Sleepy Hollow to investigate the decapitations of three people. The culprit is a legendary apparition, the Headless Horseman. Set in 1799, Sleepy Hollow is based on Washington Irving's classic tale, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. Faithful to the dreamy, costume bound world that Irving paints in his story, the film mixes horror, fantasy, and romance and features an extraordinary cast of characters that dabble in the supernatural.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now I need to read The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving.
The first, yeah, yeah, it makes that sound a lot better. The only because when you think of, other than this movie, the only thing I that comes to mind is the Disney cartoon of the
Oh,
Headless
see, I
Horseman.
I think of the series,
The series.
Sleepy
Oh,
Hollow.
they didn't see that. I saw the first like few episodes, and I thought it was pretty good, and then it just got shuffled and lost in the mix.
Honestly, if you get the chance to rewatch the first, I'd say probably 2 seasons, perfect.
Then it
But
kind
then
of.
it kinda went off track a little bit. But it's
Mhm.
not their fault. There was some, like, last minute recastings, there were some accusations by the lead actress where I was like, "Y'all should have worked harder to keep her." But overall, it was a very entertaining,
Yeah, from what I
series.
remember,
Yeah,
just the beginning was pretty cool,
and the
and
guy who played Ichabod Crane, so good. So
the
cute.
Disney cartoon. I just remember how back in the day when there was no
Mm,
streaming, Disney and TV stations or TV stations in general, leading up to Halloween, would put out Looney Tunes and
yeah.
Disney cartoons based on, and it would be after school or just after dinner time they would be on, and that was one of the main ones.
See,
That
I
and
remember
Garfield, I
it
remember.
on Sundays on the
Oh,
CBC, like, it's
Wonderful World of
they call it,
Disney,
like, Family Time or yeah, yeah. So, I remember watching it on that, the cartoon one, and
probably.
now I wanna rewatch it. It's on
I
Disney
am
Plus.
gonna, yeah, me and the now 6-year-old are
Ooh,
gonna, we have a whole slate of, she likes the Donald Duck ones, she likes all the anything
Donald
cartoony.
Solid.
She, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And here is, now this was hard because there were two, and I couldn't get confirmation. I remember the
Mhm.
one poster because it looks a lot like the DVD.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other one, I like the other one better. Like I like Johnny Depp and Christina Ricci, don't get me wrong, but that other poster, I would hang that.
The other poster is so much better for this movie.
Oh, that's
So much better.
I
That's
would buy
just
this poster.
it's objectively better.
Yeah, depends how
The
good the
placement
movie
of the
is.
tagline, the tree,
Yeah,
like,
it's got the
see,
great, yeah.
that poster with the tree and the headless horseman and the moon, that is a horror movie poster.
The other
This
one is a
other one,
thriller,
yeah, if
a
that.
whodunit.
I'm like, this is too much
Johnny Depp on
Johnny and
CSI.
Christina.
Just need
CSI
Grissom to pop out.
1799.
Grissom will put it all together by the end.
Oh god, which one was the one in Miami? Caruso? Is that
Oh,
the
that was
actor's name? With the
David Caruso.
with the sunglasses.
He
I
was
couldn't
so cheesy in that show, but he
oh,
was great.
he was classic,
Oh.
but
Yeah,
terrible.
yeah. But classics, almost 70s
Yes, I had to
lead.
wait until he left the show before I could start watching it. I tried with him, but I couldn't. But anyways, thank you, Johnny and Christina.
Yeah. But yeah, that one poster, yeah, you're looking at Thriller. That other poster looks like and that poster, if you actually got that out on say like October 10th,
Oh, yeah.
1999, you probably would have made another $50 million before Halloween.
See, that's why I really think it was at least a month behind in production, because this is the kind of movie you'd want to release close to Halloween, but not necessarily on Halloween.
Yeah.
So I think their plan probably was like mid-October, and it just got pushed and pushed and pushed. Because
Yeah.
November 17th, at that point, you're super into Thanksgiving, and most people are already in Christmas mode.
Oh yeah.
So you've
Yeah.
missed the Halloween creepy window.
So the fact that I made $100 million going right into December was probably
Impressive,
impressive. Yeah.
but I think that's
Why
mostly
wouldn't they
Johnny
just
Depp and
wait to the
Christina
next
Ricci.
year? It's not like it's gonna fall behind the times. It's set in 1799. Well, I guess you want your money, right?
Well, it was probably a budgetary decision by the studio. They were like, "It has to get out now because next year we have I don't know what, but on the slate, so we've gotta get the money for that."
All right. Now we are going to Rotten Tomatoes. 126 critic reviews puts it at
Ooh.
70%.
Oh,
I was shocked. I honestly I did not think it's a Tim Burton movie, but it wasn't his most.
It's not his
So I
best.
no that I remember. I'm starting to
Yeah.
wonder now because I don't remember. I obviously don't remember a whole lot of this friggin' movie.
Okay, but
200
my niece watched it
and
recently-ish
was
in
kind
the
of like
last couple
meh.
of years, and she was like, "It was terrible." But I'm just gonna so 70% really surprises me.
250,000 audience members pegs it at 80%. So that's really high too.
Hmm,
Critics' consensus. It isn't Tim Burton's best work. Oh, there you go. But Sleepy Hollow entertains with its stunning visuals. I remember that. And
yes.
creepy atmosphere. I do remember it looking good. All his movies look good. Even if they're
He
bad, they look good.
he is an incredible idea man and incredible visual artist.
Yeah.
So he has incredible concepts and he can convey that. Unfortunately, sometimes the scripts don't reflect that.
Did you know that Tim Burton did not direct A Nightmare Before Christmas?
No?
It
Actually,
is
that kind
one
of
of
makes sense.
it's he wrote it and he produced it, and his name went on it because, well, it's Tim Burton. But yeah, it's one of the I didn't know that either until I was looking at Tim Burton stuff, and it's one of the most uncommon known facts in Hollywood. People that work in the industry know it, obviously,
Yeah.
or should. But yeah, no, he didn't
Well,
direct
because
it.
it is Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas,
Yeah.
but
Well, yeah, it's the same director who did Caroline or
yeah,
Coraline
Coraline.
and James and the Giant Peach, which also has Tim Burton plastered on the top of it.
Here's the thing
So,
with especially animated movies, live action directors can't don't know how to direct animation movies.
yeah, I can see that being a problem.
There's a lot of technical stuff that directors will often call, and there are decisions that need to be made where you need to have an understanding of animation. So I can understand,
Patience.
him being like a creative director where he says like this is the feel that I want or this is the but the notes that would actually go onto the animation would have to come from an animation director.
Yeah.
Trust me, man. I've seen the stuff they call and I'm like, I didn't see that.
All right, so let's go with the positive first. You can start us off.
I'm ready. A gorgeous Halloween vibed whodunit. Trace Thurman, Horror Queers podcast. Original score 4.5 out of 5. Damn.
Yeah. Okay. So, and if they're saying it's a gorgeous Halloween vibe, who done it? I believe it.
I believe it too.
It's a horror film, but it's a Tim Burton horror film. Make no mistake about that. Ken Hankey, Mountain Express, original score 5 out of 5.
Wow.
We have been doing this for so long. I am now getting fairly familiar with a lot of these these
Yeah.
critics, like Ken Hankey here.
Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow may be one of the best slasher movies ever made. Of course, that's not saying much. Robert Roten, Laramie Movie Scope, original score 8 out of 10.
Burton's film is black and
Vermilion.
vermilion, eye candy for spooky kids everywhere. A goth tart for the masses. Mark Savlov, Austin Chronicle, 3.5 out of 5.
Huh. With the head rollingly entertaining Sleepy Hollow, director Tim Burton returns to peak form, delivering the best Hammer horror movie that never was. Steve Murray, Atlanta Journal Constitution.
This got a lot of comparisons to the Hammer movies, like the
Mm,
old Curse of Dracula and the Hounds of Bakersville and stuff. I as a kid, I loved because they were the only movies when you only have 3 channels
yes.
and these are playing at midnight. Yeah, you learn to love them. I actually found myself drawn into this old classic illustrated material, enthralled by a time and place so well evoked that the Horseman almost seemed natural there. Roger Ebert, Chicago Sun-Times, original score 3.5 out of 4.
Damn.
It's pretty high for Roger Ebert.
It is.
We go to the Rotten. You go ahead.
The Burton trademark special effects are typically fun, but the late release and lackluster performances make Sleepy Hollow feel exactly like its title Sleepy and Hollow. John R. McEwen, Film Quips Online.
No longer a prodigy at 41, Tim Burton has now become a problem. I still find myself watching his movies with bemused tolerance, thinking surely he'll be a great director when he grows up. Andrew O'Hare, Sight and Sound. It's kind of mean.
It's kind of mean, yeah. It's like, damn, Andrew. As heroic failures go, it's up there with the best. Andrew Howe, Film Written Magazine, original score 2 out of 4.
Burton has picked up his considerable imagination and shaken it, but not much came out. Jeff Miller, Houston Chronicle. All right, IMDb. 376,000 user ratings. That is the highest I've ever seen in
Damn.
IMDb. And it got a 7.3. And guess
That's
what?
actually pretty high.
That's really for that, and for that many users, holy shit.
Yeah.
This also has the highest amount of viewer reviews. There was a lot of them.
Damn, a lot of people have watched
Go
this.
ahead.
Thanks. Now let's not loose our heads. This was an awesome movie. 10 out of 10, smells like cheese.
See, and I remember Smells Like Cheese, whoever you are.
Yes.
You'll lose your head over this classic tale. 9 out of 10. Buckicarus.
Dark, comic, evil, tense, Tim Burton, 8 out of 10. Lord Fug.
Burton Does a Hammer movie. 7 out of 10. Bands about movies.
Fantastic. Trite plot, but great visual experience. 6 out of 10. Super basic.
Nice visuals, and that's about it. 5 out of 10. Geronowans.
Uh-huh. Astoundingly overrated. 4 out of 10. Vaftruudner.
Did I see the same movie y'all did? 3 out of 10. Hugh Tex.
Not sleepy, but hollow to be sure. 2 out of 10. Brad and Ethan.
Brad and Ethan. It was hollow, and I did fall asleep. 1 out of 10. Bob. I'm going to say Bob 9.
I see. I would have said B Bobby B.
B Bobby 9.
B Bobby 9. That's what I would say.
All
Oh,
right.
B Bobby.
So there's nothing left now but to watch that I'm kerfuffled here because it's really weird. I remember liking it. I remember it
Yeah.
not being his best. I do not remember it being R-rated. I have not seen this trailer. I think that shows because I think I missed a bit of the beginning, like a second or two. But so we'll watch it and make our
Yeah. Let's see what Timmy has to show us.
yeah.
Constable Ichabod Crane, sent from New York to investigate murder in Sleepy Hollow.
How much have your superiors explained to you?
Only that the three were slain in open ground, their heads severed from their bodies.
Taken by the headless horseman, taken back to hell. He rode a giant black steed. To look at him made your blood run cold. Even today, the Western Woods is a haunted place where brave men will not venture.
We have murders in New York without benefit of ghouls and goblins.
You're a long way from New York, Constable.
Is everyone in this village enthralled to superstition?
We have many things to talk about, even in this backward place.
Excuse my manner. I'm not used.
Female company?
Murder! The Horseman's killed again!
The assassin is a man of flesh and blood, and I will discover him.
Are you so certain of everything?
Perhaps there's a bit of a witch in you, Katrina.
Why do you say that?
Because you've bewitched me.
Well, there it is. So what is
It
your
looks pretty.
predictions for Sleepy Hollow 1999?
I think I'm gonna love it. I think I'm still gonna love it. I just think I'm still gonna think it's a terrible movie, but I feel like I'll be charmed into liking it. Also, I'd like to point out that Johnny Depp is 17 years older than Christina Ricci. This love story makes me very uncomfortable.
Do they have I thought he had a love story with the other lady with the big boobies.
I thought he had a love story with Christina Ricci.
I was gonna say, 'cause
In the thing, he's like,
I had a crush
oh
on
no, in the
Christina Ricci, but I think I'm around the same age as Christina Ricci.
yeah, she's my age.
Yeah, so I'm pretty
So
safe there. I'm not
yeah, you're not creepy
no,
for
Johnny
that.
Depp's creepy if that's the case.
Yeah, John. Well, the director's creepy because you're casting a 19-year-old
Yeah.
with the lead who's 17 years older than her. Because in the trailer, he's like, "But you've bewitched me," and then they
Oh,
embrace, and I was like, "Sir, that makes me uncomfortable."
yeah. Call him Johnny Pedophiling Depp.
Well, I mean,
Oh, I
his
guess
last
she's
wife.
19. You can't really say that. It's just weird.
No, it's still gross. It's still gross because that makes him what? 19, 29 plus 36?
36.
Any 36-year-old man who's dating a 19-year-old woman, young woman, is gross. 'Cause what no, but that's a whole nother discussion in a very different podcast.
Yeah, different movie. Well, actually, no, not a different movie. It's this movie. No, I thought it was the other actress there that was the love interest. I thought it was
Who
more of
knows?
a it looks great.
It's
The
visually
weird
beautiful.
romance aside, it does it looks good. Um yeah, it looks really great. It looks I noticed a lot of the actors in this movie.
Mhm.
Like a lot of the actors. I think I'm gonna like it. I really don't remember a whole lot about it, but yeah,
Me
it looks
neither.
like it'll be fun to check it out.
Yeah, I think it'll be a really good time.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to go watch Sleepy Hollow from 1999. That's apparently rated R. And then when we come back, we will review it and tell you if it should be rated R and
If it's
if the
actually a horror movie
yeah, or just a creepy love story.
or just a creepy love story.
You heard them. Movie time. Let's all go to the lobby and get ourselves a treat, and then watch a classic kick-ass movie from whenever the one we're about to watch was made.
Yeah. Welcome back to the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. Have you watched Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow?
Yes, I have.
Me too. And my initial thoughts, this had to be the most non-rated rated R movie I have ever watched.
Okay, but I actually looked up, like, the R rating because I was like, "This does not feel like an R rating," but apparently the R rating means that the film contains adult material such as adult activity, harsh language, intense graphic violence, drug abuse, and nudity. We had almost all of that in this
In
movie.
some, yeah, to some extent, because I actually sat down. I'm like, this will be fine. And I sat down with the kids, and then that thing came over, and for violence and
Yeah.
language and sexual content. And I'm like, oh, I
Well, the
already
sexual
don't remember
content.
this movie. So so we had to they weren't able to watch it. I think I will let them watch it, the older ones this weekend. It
Mhm,
was not like I mean, there was a lot of blood and there were a lot of heads getting lopped off.
which, by the way, qualifies as violence.
Yes. But I would not consider this movie gory or scary.
Oh god, no. No, no,
But I
no,
did have
no.
fun. Not my favorite Tim Burton movie, but
I had fun, but it's funny because watching it now, because whenever I watch movies now for this podcast, I almost come at it with a more critical eye. So I was just watching this movie and I was like, it feels really confused, like it doesn't know what kind of movie it is. And it's like sometimes it's super serious and super creepy. And then Johnny Depp does something, and I'm like, Well, you just killed the mood. I don't know if that was on purpose. It was very confusing. Gorgeous movie.
Yeah.
absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
The
It was.
visuals were incredible. Um, Acting overall, super good.
Yeah,
Miranda
the acting
Richardson
was
is a
stellar.
goddess or was a goddess. But
Dumbledore,
yeah, Dumbledore. Michael Gambon, incredible. Jeffrey Jones is in it. Like, there are so many
Christopher Lee.
actors.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Yeah,
the acting was pretty
the
stellar.
acting was incredible. The cast was
Might I
incredible.
add Casper Van Dien,
Oh, yes.
Johnny Neat Rico himself
The prince,
from Starship
because he is actually a
Troopers
prince. Like, he's an actual real prince.
in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, true story. I think it's because he married into the princedom. I don't
Hmm.
know if he's actually descended from princes, but, I know his wife is a princess for sure,
Hmm.
or his ex-wife? I think they divorced. I don't know. Anyways, Christopher Walken is in it. Anything with Christopher Walken is a gift.
Yeah, I thought it was an end of the movie type of reveal, but no, they show you
No,
Christopher Walken pretty early.
right from the beginning, and God bless that man, does not say a word,
Nope.
but he's incredible. But overall, yeah, it was I had fun with it.
I approach movies a little differently. Because I know they're not gonna be as good as I remember them. So I'm a little more forgiving. Sometimes
God
I
bless.
get surprised,
Mm,
sometimes I don't. Okay, so let's go over the movie. And on a side note, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Irving Washington is only 50 pages. It's a short story. So
mhm,
this is more of an inspired and they kind of made it something different. Like Ichabod Crane wasn't a constable,
yeah,
but a schoolmaster, and he lived in Sleepy Hollow in the book. So they took some
creative
liberties.
license. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in 1799, New York City Police Constable Ichabod Crane, Johnny Depp, is facing imprisonment. Is he facing imprisonment?
Mm-mm.
No. For going against traditional methods and favoring forensic investigation techniques such as fingerprinting and autopsies, not considered to be orthodox at the time and considered unimportant. He's arguing with the
I think it's more like he's facing either being fired
yeah, or
or
suspended. I don't know if they
suspended
suspended you
or
back
whatever.
then.
Like,
Didn't
no,
look
he
like
probably would have been suspended,
yeah,
I think. I don't
after they
it's not like today
beat
where you
you.
get suspended with pay,
No.
but I don't think he was facing imprisonment. I think it was just like a conversation about like he's trying to fight for new improved scientific methods and everybody's like, just throw them in, beat a confession out of them. It's fine." And I'm like, "Okay." He's very passionate about it. God bless.
Mhm. Ichabod submits to deployment with his bag of tools to the Westchester County hamlet of Sleepy Hollow, New York, which
Mhm.
has been plagued by a series of brutal slayings in which the victims have been found decapitated, including Peter Van Garrett, Martin Landau, wealthy farmer and landowner, his son Dirk, and the widow Emily Winship. I love the opening. It looked great, like New
It
York
was
and all that.
incredible.
Yeah,
I like the opening. It felt very like, especially when you were looking when he was in, I guess it would be the police station slash jail, but it was super almost dystopian. I was like,
yeah.
was it really like that in 1799? It piqued my interest. It could have
I'm
been,
pretty
but
sure
I
they
feel like,
beat people like that.
oh, 100%. 100% about the beatings.
Like
I'm
you
there
wouldn't
with
want to get
you.
caught by a cop back then.
Oh, no, 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 because all it took was like one,
Yeah.
and then it's like, no, no, he confessed, and poor Johnny Depp sitting there going, "What? I don't I don't think that's what happened." But yeah, no, the visuals were absolutely stunning. The set design, the lighting, basically from the very beginning of the film straight to when he makes his way into Sleepy Hollow. It's
Hmm.
absolutely stunning. Do I
Yeah.
think they could have cut a little bit off the trip into Sleepy Hollow? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. They definitely wanted to show it off.
Was it absolutely beautiful and very well shot and very well lit? Yes. So I wasn't that mad about it. I was just like, this feels like this has been going on for a while, but God, this is beautiful.
Yeah. No, it looked great. Christopher Lee he is awesome, and he's been in so many things, including Hammer movies, which this movie screamed of. One of my favorites is The Hounds of Bakersville. It reminded me a lot of this movie, and not only like this, not only screams Tim Burton movie, but yeah, it's like a really, like you just said, like it's a beautiful period piece. I
Oh
didn't
God, yeah.
even before we get to Sleepy Hollow. And then that is gorgeous to look at.
Oh, so
I
gorgeous.
agree. Did take a little long. What do you got there?
Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
It's the big house.
Arriving in Sleepy Hollow, Crane is informed by the town's elders that the killer is not of flesh and blood, but rather an undead headless Hessian mercenary from the American Revolutionary War, who rides at night on a massive black steed in search of his missing head. Oh, thank you, Anna, for pointing out the huge age gap between Ricci and Depp.
Mm-hmm.
I could have sworn they weren't romantic.
Yeah,
but
no, they totally
But I also could have sworn that Kristen Dunst was in too. So, I know. I don't think that would have made it any better. I'm thinking like maybe Dunst should have been in it, but I think they're like the same age. She might even
they're
be
the same
younger.
age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
No, I think they are pretty much the same. Are they the same age? Yeah. Because I remember being shocked when I realized that Kristen Dunst was my age. When I think
Mm.
I was watching Hidden Figures, and I was like, damn, girl.
I will say this. I don't know if it was Depp or Burton, other than a kiss on the cheek. I think that was the extent of any romance or explicit shows of affection on camera.
Which I think was actually very in keeping with the character of Ichabod Crane in this movie. Because he's a
Yes.
very prim, very proper, super socially awkward man, God bless. So he wouldn't be a Casanova, and he wouldn't be, like, betting
No.
the super young 19-year-old.
And also the whole history lesson from the town's elders in Dumbledore was awesome.
Dumbledore, you say?
Yeah. That was
Not
great.
Dumbledore?
And yeah. Oh yeah, Dumbledore. Okay. I'll admit I'm not a huge Harry Potter person.
It's
I
okay, I
have
forgive
seen the
you.
movies. I do like them, but I am not a Potterhead or whatever you call them. I could have sworn this is where we see Christopher Walken quite early, so there was no surprise that I thought that was a big reveal. It was not.
No, but his teeth are freaky.
Yeah, because they filed them down.
He
Yeah.
files them down. I'm like, "Oh my god. Like, for reals?" And that becomes important later on, and I'll tell you why. Let's keep going.
Crane begins his investigation, remaining highly skeptical about the supernatural elements in the case until he actually encounters the Headless Horseman himself, who kills the magistrate Samuel Phillips, Richard Griffiths, on sight. Okay, so before this, he kills the older Nesbeth,
Yeah,
and leaves
Mazda.
young Nesbeth, or how he
Mhm.
puts it, just Nesbeth now.
Yeah.
And he is honor bound to help bring the horseman to justice. Magistrate Philip actually tells Constable Crane that there was 5 murders, and he has the widow Winship dug up.
Yes,
I'm
he
guessing
does.
it was a lot easier to do that back then. And he finds out that she was pregnant, and the horseman ran her through right where the baby would have been.
Mhm.
Now, if you're listening to this and have not seen the movie, I am indeed describing a headless horseman sticking a sword into a pregnant woman, and I'm guessing decapitating a fetus. I don't know. Killed it. Anyways, I still stand by my this should not be rated R comment.
Killed the fetus, but you don't see any of that death.
No. No.
All you see is the headless body with
Yes.
a cut in the abdomen,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "I gotta open her up."
And
And
actually it gets worse.
yeah.
But I still stand by my comment.
I
This is
know
not
you
an
do, but
R-rated movie.
technically it's an R rating.
Yes.
We're gonna have to accept it, okay? We've been desensitized.
Kill more children. Kill no. Um
You can't say shit like that.
So before now, Crane is like, you are all silly. Science and rational thinking will prevail. He is with the magistrate, sees the headless horseman kill the magistrate. He's then in the fetal position in his room, not wanting any part of the case or the town. And Johnny Depp, much like Johnny Depp does, sells his character. I love how he's like, it was a headless horseman. And they're like, we know, we told you. He's like, you weren't there. It was headless. He literally had no head.
But
Just,
wait, this was after he gets punked by Casper Van Dien, right?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, this is after because he chases him and does the old pumpkin on
He
fire and chucks it
Yeah,
through the bridge. Yes,
chucks it through the bridge. It
but he
hits
knows it, and then he hears them laughing, and he knows it
Yeah.
was just
He
a
knows it
yeah.
was a prank, and he's like,
Hmm.
"Oh, good one." So then when he sees the real horseman, he's like, "Oh shit. That's
Yes,
that's for realsies." Yes,
boarding
that was
in
his
a
exact line. Ooh. Words are hard
Yeah.
today.
Boarding in a room at the home of the town's richest family and the Van Garrett's next of kin, the Van Tassels, Crane develops an attraction to their daughter, Christina Ricci. I said I had a crush on Christina Ricci. In my defense, I'm almost the same age or around that area. Unlike Kitty Toucher Depp over here. We should be clear. Christina Ricci was 19, time of filming. But in 1799, being 19 and still unmarried would be considered odd. She
Oh
should
yeah,
have
she's
like
on
3
her
or
way
4
to
kids by now.
spinsterhood. She's on her way to spinsterhood. Especially if you're from a high-ranking, like wealthy family and you're
Mhm.
19 and still single, everybody's talking about you. There's something wrong with you at that
Yeah.
point. But
So
she was also dating Casper Van Dien in this movie.
yes,
Like that
or
was
he was
they were
courting
courting.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't that strange. Like those elders, Dumbledore and all them, they were like 35. So like 36, 37. So I mean, you lived to be what, 40 back in 1799?
You live to be a little older most of the time, like 55.
While he is plagued by nightmares of his mother's horrific torture when he was a child, this attraction is deeply resented by Brom Van Brunt. This is Casper Van
Mhm.
Dien, a suitor to Katrina who scares Crane in a prank by posing as the headless horseman. I think this was before. Now I'm confused. The
I
plot
feel
I
like
got.
hold on.
I
Let
thought it was
me
before too.
I did not mention Casper Van Dien in my notes
Mm,
specifically. However, I did note the jack-o'-lantern on the scarecrow as they're coming in, and I was like, "Nice." It's a
yeah,
good call because a lot of the headless horsemen's like kind of lore involves a jack-o'-lantern head.
yeah.
So just thought I'd throw that out there.
Riding into the western woods with the orphan young Nasbeth. Is it Masbeth or Nasbeth?
I feel like it's Masbeth.
Masbeth.
Yep, Masbeth.
Of the horseman's fifth victim, before Magistrate Phillips, Crane and Katrina come across the cave dwelling of a reclusive sorceress. He reveals the location of a gnarled tree of the dead, which marks the horseman's grave, as well as his portrayal into the natural world from the supernatural. Okay, this is wrong because he didn't find Katrina until after this.
Mhm.
That cutting
He
the bat's head was gross.
It was super gross. That entire thing was just and it was so funny because when I was watching it, I was like, "Is that Christina Ricci underneath that veil?" Because it kinda looked like her and it kinda sounded like her because in this movie, Christina Ricci does this very light, almost breathy
Yeah,
voice,
yeah.
which doesn't sound like her natural voice, so it's very like, "Oh." And the witch kinda had that until, she got possessed and gave all that information out about finding the dead tree.
Yeah, and when she gets possessed by the other and her eyes and tongue popped out, it reminded me
Mhm.
so much of Large Marge from Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Like another Tim Burton movie, maybe his greatest movie. That'd be tough. Beetlejuice, Pee-wee, Batman.
Edward Scissorhands.
Never seen it.
For shame.
I don't know why. I'm almost proud of it
For
now.
shame, and
I
now I'm seeing a
loved
lot of
Sweeney Todd.
parallels. Sweeney Todd was
That was
incredible.
great, yeah. But yeah, I never seen Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, dude, you should
Maybe
watch it.
we should do that one.
Okay.
Crane discovers that the ground is freshly disturbed and digging through discovers the horseman's skeleton and that the skull is missing. Yeah, he with that shovel, he cleaned that up real good. It was perfect.
He's a very meticulous man.
And when he was cutting the tree, all that blood just pouring out.
That was
Like there's a
so
lot of blood.
gross,
Yeah.
and it was,
And
like,
against
flicking on
that,
his face.
yeah,
Oh,
and everything else is so dark and dreary. That
yeah.
red really popped. It looked great. It looked fantastic. But again, yeah, it wasn't horrifying. It was almost art.
Honestly, it's very, very, very arty movie, and I feel like every time it managed to get to the creep factor, it was pulled out of the creep by almost, like, the whimsical performance that Johnny Depp had as Ichabod Crane. I was like, "You keep throwing me out every time it starts to get creepy and a little tension filled, all of a sudden, you're just super quirky."
Yeah, quirky, funny.
And it
Yeah.
yeah,
There's
and
a
it
few of those, yeah.
it kills the vibe, and I'm like, "Ugh, we were so close." But it's fine.
He realizes that whoever dug up and stole the skull is the person controlling the horseman. Just then, the horseman's ghost bursts out of the tree and gallops towards Sleepy Hollow. This is when I noticed the brilliance of Tim Burton. Well, this wasn't, I mean, in this movie, a director known for look and effects, and since he's more practical effects, right?
Hmm.
I would say there was CGI in this movie, but he used it very sparingly.
Sparingly. Yeah.
Yeah, and he didn't focus on the CGI very long. It was very smart for 1999, where a lot of movies back then really focused.
Yeah.
And
A lot of movies
um,
wanted to play with the shiny new toy.
yeah, and he just used it for what he needed, and that was
Yeah.
it. Yep. That's another thing where we were talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This movie still all the effects that I nothing really stood out as crappy. Like, oh, that's
No.
stupid. It still holds up. Its look.
Oh, its look is classic.
Yeah.
The look of this film is classic, and you could play this 20, 30, 40 years from now, and people will still say it's an incredibly beautifully made film.
Crane attempts to follow but winds up lost. The Killian family are taken by the horsemen and Brahm is killed, cut in half when trying to stop the horsemen. Okay. So Killian, the midwife, and the what, 5, 6-year-old boy?
Mhm.
The kid sees his mom decapitated after his dad dies. The
Yep.
horseman realizes or senses the kid is under the floor and busts it open with an axe and scoops the kid up and beheads him. Or it didn't show the beheading, but
Yeah.
he comes out with 3 heads in that sack. So
We know what happens. We know.
and I would argue that if you're already got the R rating, let's shock some people. Let's
Yeah, but
lop
that's
that 5 years. Let have him running and just
see, but this is a reluctant R rating. Like
yes.
this is
I'm
a
pretty
okay,
sure
it
he
it just meets the criteria. We can't rate it
yeah.
PG-13, but it's not like an obvious R.
I would argue, and only Tim Burton could tell me, is that he wanted a PG-13. This is what they told him, and he refused to
See,
change anything else.
I have a feeling he was just like, "This is my movie."
Yeah, this
And
is
they
it.
were like,
This is my movie.
"It's an R." And he was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Like, I think he just made the movie and he was like, "This is what I wanna show people." So whatever the rating is, the rating is.
And they were like, the contract says he can do what he wants. I made a note. I'm like, yeah, lop the 5-year-old kid's head off.
So delicate.
I wouldn't do it if the kid was blonde haired or brown or black haired. He's a redhead.
Mm.
He's just a ginger. No one cares.
Why are you advocating for the killing of your own people?
Hey, that's a lie. I'm bald. I'm a day walker. I don't have the freckles. Now, also, this is when Brahm attempts to defeat the horseman, and Ichabod helps him. I mean, and they did a great job of Ichabod being kind of a coward, but not overly coward. But he does make those faces. He does
Mhm.
do those kind of like little yelps, cowardly, like,
Yeah.
and it harkens to the cartoon of
Yeah.
the Ichabod cartoon. It definitely takes you out of the scary because when he's doing it, it almost becomes funny.
It becomes almost a not quite, but almost a Three Stooges sketch. Like,
Yeah, Abbott Costello. Yeah,
yeah, it
it's yeah.
becomes very I actually made a note and I blame Johnny Depp for this note. I said it's high school theater production vibes because it just at some points, and I always noticed it in scenes with Johnny Depp, it becomes almost melodramatic or just a little overacted. And
Mhm.
every actor ends up because they're meeting Johnny where he is and he's out in left field. So they're like, I guess we're going there. But every other scene without him was amazing and
Yeah,
it had a little bit of tension, had a little bit of creep factor. Then Johnny's just all quirky, derpy.
and he really did try to help Brom. And I love the
He
sound of
did.
the horseman's footsteps, and it was almost like you thought he was like a ghost when they were
Mm,
crossing the bridge, and they realized that he was walking above them,
yeah.
and then cutting Brom in half was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crane starts to believe that a conspiracy links all the deaths together, so he goes to the town notary, James Hardenbrook, Michael Go, to look into Van Garrett's last will. It was bugging me so bad where I knew this guy from, and he's been in like almost 200 things. but
Yeah.
I knew him specifically, and I had to stop and go and look. And he's Alfred from the Batman movies, right from Michael Keaton to
Yeah.
George Clooney. And it was because he had a different haircut and his one eye was, yeah. So
No,
I
I
was
had the same thing. I also, because usually what I do before I even watch the movie is I'll kind of like
go to
click through the
IMDb.
actors. Yeah. Well, no, I just Google the movie and then I just click through the actors and I see like notably what have they done?
Yeah,
Because so many of the actors look familiar. I'm like, let's just settle this now so I can
yeah.
watch the movie in
Watch the whole
peace.
movie. Yeah, yeah, because it
So
was
that's what I did. And then I
bugging.
was like, oh, Alfred. That makes sense.
Yeah. Hardenbrook confesses Van Garrett had made an okay, I'm gonna read the conspiracy, and
Hmm.
everyone that's listening gonna be like, "What the fuck is he talking?" But the movie does do quite a good job of with flashbacks and everything and explains it quite well. Like, I
Hmm.
wasn't confused watching it, unlike what I'm about to read. Hardenbrook confesses Van Garrett had made a new will just before he died, leaving all his possessions to his new bride, Emily Winship, who Crane had learned from the late magistrate Philip was pregnant at the time of her death, and thinks that the father of the child might have killed Emily to keep the secret hidden. Crane deduces that all who knew about the new will were the victims of the Horseman, and that Katrina's father, Baltus Van Tassel, Michael Gambon, or Dumbledore, who would have inherited the fortune, is the person holding the skull. Katrina, finding out that Crane suspects her father, burns the evidence, and Crane has accumulated and tells him that she doesn't love him anymore. I didn't realize, yeah, courting was weird back then. Not
Well,
like it is,
yeah.
straightforward now. And I'm sitting there
Well,
going, you can't burn evidence. And
but
Ichabod was
Katrina
taking it
can.
quite well.
Well, he took it very well. Also, he didn't do anything to actually secure the evidence.
No,
He was
yeah.
just like, I'm going to put it in this drawer in front of someone who's not a police officer
Yeah,
so that you
that's
can see
true.
where it is, even though
Yeah,
it incriminates your father.
yeah. Ichabod.
He's not the greatest detective.
No. In fear of the Horseman, Hardenbrook hangs himself and a town council is held in the town church. The Horseman seemingly kills Katrina's stepmother, Lady Van Tassel, and heads off to the church to get Baltus. That's Dumbledore for everyone paying attention. With the townspeople filling in just as he arrives, with men firing muskets as he circles the church. Crane realizes the Horseman can't enter the church grounds due to it being consecrated and therefore holy. A massive fight breaks out in the church when Dr. Thomas Lancaster, Ian Dimmer, sorry, suggests
Yeah.
confessing for forgiveness and is killed by Reverend Steenwick, Jeffrey Jones, who is in turn shot by a frightened Baltus, Dumbledore.
Mhm.
The chaos ends only when the Horseman harpoons Dumbledore. Baltus through a church window using a pointed church fence post attached to a rope, dragging him out and acquiring his head. Fantastic fucking kill. That was
It was
great.
amazing.
Yeah, that was an awesome
I
scene.
enjoyed that kill a lot. I
Yeah.
was like, that's fantastic. Although I did have one moment, and I don't know if it's just the Catholic in me, but if any other denominations of Christianity would like to clue in, for some reason he couldn't go on the grounds that were fenced in around the church, but
Yeah.
I saw he was basically riding his horse through the cemetery.
Yeah.
Now, for Catholics, our cemeteries are consecrated. And then if you like commit suicide, have an abortion, whatever, you're supposed to get buried on the other side of the consecration, like where it's not consecrated. So I'm like, how is he walking? How is he riding his horse? Like, is there
Yeah,
a
but they weren't
road? I was
Catholic though, were they?
no, they're
No.
probably Anglican or Protestant or whatever,
Yeah.
because that's what they do. That's most of the settlers that ended up coming over. They weren't Catholics. But yeah, no, I was wondering because I was like, how is he walking around the church if he's walking through a cemetery? Because isn't that supposed to be consecrated ground too? And that was just my own personal. This is what happens when you go to that many years of Catholic school. Just saying.
As Crane is leaving Sleepy Hollow. Oh yeah, because that's it. He's done. They think it's over. As Crane is leaving Sleepy Hollow, he becomes suspicious when the hand of the corpse of Lady Van Tassel has a wound which shows signs of having been caused post mortem. This is where all this stuff came in handy.
Mm,
His suspicions are confirmed to be right when the real Lady Van Tassel, Miranda Richardson, emerges alive from the dark and shocks her stepdaughter Katrina into a faint.
She faints a lot.
That's how women handled, or to rephrase that, when women couldn't handle too much information or wrap the pretty little heads around things. And oh my
Um,
goodness.
that's when women were wearing corsets that
Some men
prevented
too.
them from taking deep breaths.
Yes, yeah. I was just gonna say I'd probably be a fainter. like in the face of a
You
danger,
would
no
totally
child
be a
was close.
fainter.
No child was close by to shield myself. But my fainting would be my defense mechanism. Oh my horseman, a headless horseman, and just faint.
What is it? You're like, what is the animal? Is it the possum who just like plays
Possum?
dead?
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's the
Yeah.
possum that
Or
plays
an
dead whenever a
ostrich.
predator's around.
I thought
Yeah.
you were gonna call me a dandy.
Why would I call you a dandy? You're not
There's a
pretty enough to
dandy
be a
from back in
dandy.
in 1799.
If you
I
were a dandy, you'd be a lot prettier.
Oh yeah, that's true. I don't
Generally
think
speaking,
yeah,
dandies were exceptionally fashionable. They were
that's
very
true.
social.
I
These
wouldn't
are
be a
things that
dandy.
you would not be a dandy, my friend.
Be over there making fun of the
Sorry.
dandies. Ah, look at that dandy. Be really hard to like bully
You'd be
people back
hiding
then.
you'd be hiding behind the dandies.
Yeah, yeah, using them as a shield. Katrina awakens and eventually uncovers a plot
Yep.
revolving around revenge on the Van Garretts and land rights with the Horsemen controlled by Lady Van Tassel, who we also saw owning the Reverend earlier, which was the
Mhm.
sexual content that prevented me showing this to my kids, and it wasn't that bad. It was,
No, it was just
um,
suggestive.
yeah. Who sends a supernatural killer after Katrina now to solidify her hold on what she considers her property, a piece of land unjustly claimed by Baltus. She explains that again. It explained really well. I got it. I got it in the movie. It
Yeah.
was yeah. She explains that the body believed to be her corpse actually belonged to the family servant Sarah, whom she had murdered. Actually, we got to see that as she's
Yes.
explaining it. She gets handy with the axe too. She
She really
also
does.
she also reveals that she had just murdered the mysterious witch in the Western Woods, her own sister, for her role in aiding Crane and young Masbeth. And they were the two twins who
Mhm.
got the horseman caught in the callback to the horseman legend. The one who snaps she's
Yes.
the jerk that snaps.
She's
Uh, Following a fight in the local windmill and a stagecoach chase through the woods, Crane eventually thwarts Lady Van Tassel by throwing the skull to the horseman, breaking the curse. Okay. The fight and the chase at the windmill was great.
It was.
I do remember a review, maybe more than one, asking why did the windmill explode? And I actually put it down as just Hollywood, but it bugged me, so I looked it up. And okay, so they're being chased by the horsemen. Fire, they go up to the top and then go down.
Mhm.
What are those things called?
I think
The
that's the
arms, the
sails. He said the
sails.
sails, I think,
Yes,
in
I think
the
he said the sails. Yes,
yeah.
and then the fire catches a bunch of sacks and it blows up. And a lot of people, especially IMDb, were like, "Oh, Hollywood." Hold on, where's the note? Yes, okay, that's it. The extreme flammability of the windmill might have seemed like typical Hollywood special effects overkill to some, but in fact, it's very realistic. Flour mills are subject to the same problem coal mines are. The flammability explosive, qualities of combustible dust suspended in the air. These can cause very serious explosions, with one flour mill explosion in 1878 having killed 18 people. Even today, with our modern technology, there's roughly a dozen dust explosions per year in the agricultural sector.
Look at that science.
Yeah. Next, that horse and buggy chase was absolutely fantastic. I know you didn't like but when he ended up on the wrong horse and he was facing the wrong way, I totally surrendered to this being a kind of a goofy. I was going in, I'm like, this is not going to be a horror.
See, I would be fine with that if everybody else got that same memo. I feel like everybody else was in one movie and Johnny Depp was in another.
Yeah, it's kind of like Abbott and Costello and Three Stooges, where
Yeah.
they're goofy and everyone
Yeah.
else around them is serious.
It was a weird and don't get me wrong, it doesn't take away from the enjoyability of the movie. You just have to go in and realize this is not a horror, it's not a
No,
creepy movie, it's not
not at all.
it's just a fun movie, and
Yeah.
you have to really feel that in your soul, you know?
The horseman, no longer under Lady Van Tassel's control, simultaneously kisses and bites her. I have a feeling this was a crazy Christopher Walken improv or suggestion.
It might have been, but it was so funny because I actually wrote a note where I'm like, ew, he literally ate her face.
Yes. Yeah, he does. He doesn't kiss her. He like chews on her.
He chews on her. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh God,
Yeah.
that's super. And then he seems to really enjoy it.
Yes, a
And I'm
very
like, this
devilish
is
Christopher Walken.
disconcerting.
If I could, I would do a Christopher Walken impression. I can't, so I won't.
No. It's great
Hey,
though, because he just makes these sounds through the entire movie.
yeah, he doesn't say one word.
Not one word.
No.
Just a lot of sounds.
Yeah. I wonder if they got him a discount for that.
But I doubt it.
No, I doubt it too. He hoists her up on the horse, then rides to hell, taking her with him, fulfilling her end of the deal with the devil. She did actually say that when she was a little kid, she would sell her soul to the devil if she could harness the horseman's power. With the Headless Horseman menace eradicated, Crane returns home to New York with Katrina and young Masbeth just in time for the new century. And that is our movie. Score!
Can I just make one note about when they return to New York? No.
Yeah.
One note about when they return to New York. Young Masbeth is carrying all the like bags. Poor thing. And they get out.
They didn't
of the
adopt him. They
coach.
just took him to like work.
No, they just took him. Well, where was he going to go? He's the only one
Yeah.
now. But then they just start walking. And I'm like, guys, if you're going to walk over a bridge where I see horse-drawn coaches going back and forth, why
Yeah, they
wouldn't you
could've-
stay in the coach?
They could have just took the horse off the
They
bridge.
could.
Would have looked
So
as
that
cool,
was-
but
I was
would have
like,
made
poor
more
little kid.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got like 18 bags.
Yeah.
All right. And a score. Stream it, skip it, rent it, buy it, or some sort of something else.
Rent it if you must. I think it's a fun
Dun,
movie.
dun,
I think
dun.
it's stunning. Absolutely stunning. I think that there is a lot of talent in it. I think that it is very entertaining. I also think that people could be very confused because they might be going into it thinking, ooh, Sleepy Hollow, creepy, like horror movie. And it's not.
Yeah.
It is not that. But it is very entertaining. It's a fun little ride. You're going to roll your eyes. There are a few times where you're going to want to roll your eyes and just be like, God. But I mean, overall, it's a great film experience for someone to experience.
Yeah. Yeah. And there were some reviews that I don't agree with, like where they say like it was a great slasher. And I'm like, no,
No.
it's not. It's not.
It's
at
not
all.
a great side. It's not. The
not a
killings
horror.
almost feel like
Cartoony comic book.
they're they're very like that's why I think I said high school theater vibes, because it's very much like it felt like I was watching this on stage where you can't have a lot of blood, you can't have a body just hanging out. It's like, oh, cauterized, great, moving on.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the kills. The movie isn't about the kills. The movie is about the Horseman and Ichabod Crane's comedy, which makes no sense but works.
All right. Rent it. Regular rental?
Regular if it's like $4.99, but preferably discount. Because I think
Might
this is
always
a
prefer
very,
discount.
it's a niche movie. This is not a wide, like, spread movie where you're going to get a big group that really likes it. That's what I think.
Right. All right. My score. This is a beautiful looking movie. The dialogue is fine. The action and violence, while plentiful, is almost comic bookish. I still say it's not an R rating movie. The acting is stellar from all the cast. Overacted in parts, especially by Johnny Depp, but it's welcome in this dreamlike utopia of visual stunningness. I don't know if I want to see any behind the scenes, because this is the type of movie where I think it's better not to know the science or the behind the magic behind the movie. And it is fun. It's not boring. It was what, an hour and 48 minutes? It didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
I was surprised by almost all of it. I knew Christopher Walken was in it, but that was about all I remembered. I mean, Kristen Dunst was hardly in it.
So weird.
This is a great Halloween movie, and this should have been released on going back to that. It really should have been, but a beautiful, magical movie with lots of killing, but light on the scares and intensity. I actually say buy it. It isn't going to blow you away whenever you go back and watch it, but it isn't going to disappoint you whenever you go back to watch it. As long as you remember that's not a horror. If you go back and watch it, it's like, is this a horror?
If you walk into it thinking, yeah, horror movie, you're going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
But I do think overall it's a fun movie.
Yeah. Yeah, you are going to get a fun, magical story that is just it really is a gorgeous movie to look at, and it has a great pace and enough amazing actors to keep you entertained from start to finish, and a red bloody finish. I will watch this again, absolutely. I wouldn't say this is Tim Burton's best, but that's not what we're reviewing. It just goes to show you that he has a few good movies under his belt. Yeah, I liked it. I
liked it. I didn't love it. Johnny Depp got on my nerves more now than he did before. The last time I watched it, because I remember being amused by the movie throughout.
Right.
And I was amused with the movie and then slightly irritated whenever Johnny Depp did one of his quirky Ichabod Crane things. And I'm like, oh, you took it a step too far, sir. I was with you until that.
Yeah, see, and now when I go watch it again, I know I knew it wasn't a horror movie before, but I really know it's not a horror movie now.
But I think
unless it's another 20 years.
True. Then you're going to forget again and be like, where's that Kirsten Dunst movie? But yeah, I think if someone wants to watch it and they're like, oh, Sleepy Hollow sounds fun. But if you're looking for a horror movie and you go to watch this, you're going to hate it.
Oh, yeah,
Period.
absolutely.
100%.
This is, if you have older kids, just preteens, tweens or whatever, and a little older, this is a great film you can watch with them. It's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's nothing overly explicit.
No, it just screams Halloween.
Yeah.
On a fun level, not in a scare. It's
a lighthearted.
Lighthearted. Yes.
It's very lighthearted.
The most lighthearted R-rated horror movie you will ever see.
God, so true. So true. But it's funny because the only behind the scenes I would want to watch for this movie is the set design and the costumes.
Yeah, actually saying that, I really would like to watch this because it would be interesting to see how he put it all together. And
I want to see how they redid that town. Did they build it from scratch?
I have a feeling for the $100 million, I think they built everything from scratch.
I think they might have. It's fucking stunning. So I would love behind the scenes on that. I don't care about anything else. And if for nothing else, if you are a student of film, set design or costume, fashion, whatever, this is the kind of, because there were times I would pause the movie to get a closer look at Christina Ricci's outfit or Miranda Richardson's outfit. Stunning, great fabrics, incredible craftsmanship. I was like, Jesus.
Oh, even everything was littered in the rooms, like all the little props and all that.
So fucking good.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, it's a beautiful movie to watch, and I think it is a lighthearted horror light. We'll call it horror light.
Yeah.
Like it is very kind of fluff.
Yeah.
And I'm cool with that. Because sometimes you want to put something in that feels kind of creepy but isn't scary. That's this. It's a nice light, like we'll watch this late at night as we're trying to fall asleep because this is not scary or gory and it won't give you nightmares. But yeah, no, it was a fun one.
Yeah.
I don't think I might rewatch it eventually, but I don't think I'll ever wake up and be like, I'm craving a rewatch of Sleepy Hollow. I don't think that's going to happen.
See, maybe I'm looking at more. This is because my kids are getting a little older. This is for the next few years. This can definitely be one that we watch, and I'm not going to be like, oh my God, not again. Some of the stuff they watch, oh my God. We just started Goosebumps on Netflix with Justin Long. Actually, that was scarier than this. It was TV-14 or PG-13 or whatever it was.
Oh God, that's fantastic.
All right. Anything you want to add about Sleepy Hollow?
It's just a good, fun, lighthearted movie that has some creepy vibes to it.
Yeah.
And weird Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Not scary. Definitely
not scary.
No.
Not scary.
Congratulations. You just had one of your childhood movie memories vindicated. Or they just eviscerated it. I don't know. This is a generic one-size-fits-all type of ending to the podcast. So thank you for listening, and please join Anna and Jimmy next time for another episode of the I Remember Liking That Movie podcast. If you dare to go back and watch that movie you remember liking,